I'm here with Alex Gorsky from Johnson & Johnson today. Johnson & Johnson had a huge group out here participating in the triathlon. Alex, the culture of the company and triathlon, how do they work together?
Well, first of all, Bob, let me just say I am so proud of all of our employees. I mean, the fact that we had almost a couple hundred employees out here today on a beautiful Saturday morning in Philadelphia, raising, I think, $130,000 for a great, mission at Children's Hospital, just says so much about who we are. But, it's very consistent with our credo. At Johnson & Johnson, our credo really outlines for us our commitment to patients, to employees, to communities, and ultimately to shareholders. When you think about what we're doing here, it supports all those things. And I just could not be prouder of what they're doing.
So, do good, be well. That's the philosophy, right?
Do good, be well. And one of the things we spend a lot of time talking about at J&J is we want to make sure that our employees are taking care of themselves. I mean, we're the world's largest healthcare company. We touch over 1 billion people a day around the world with all of our products, with our pharmaceutical products, consumer products, medical devices. And so we want to make sure that we're also the healthiest company. And so we feel that by getting engaged in these kind of events right here at the Philly TriRock Triathlon, having so many employees, really setting the example, it's all about doing good, being well.
What I love is, I think in this day and age, people think for employees, it's all about money and it's all about, what can I get from the company? But seeing what was happening in your tent with everybody taking photos together in front of the banner, just feeling like, they're changing their life through fitness, and it's because of what you guys are doing.
It really is. And we find more and more that when we ask our employees about engagement, yes, compensation is important, but they want to be part of something bigger. Right. They want to be part of a bigger mission. And that's why I think our credo, doing things like this, where you're giving back to the community, you're actually helping employees take care of themselves, that says so much about a company and its culture.
So Alex, take us back, getting into growing up. What sports were you into growing up?
Well, look, I grew up in the Midwest. I was part of a big family. I played football, I swam, and I ran track. I went to the military academy at West Point, and it was there that I really started getting into more distance racing. So I started to do more marathons there, was actually on the Warmator pentathlon team, where we actually did swimming, running, and shooting. And then it wasn't until actually after I got out in the Army that I started thinking about triathlons. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I had a brother that challenged me to get back into tris, and so I took him up on it, and here I am.
And your brother had gained some weight.
Yeah, you're right. My brother had gained some weight, and I'm so proud of him. He got back, really got into biking and swimming again, and now I can't even count the number of triathlons that he's done. And so we ended up coming here to Philly Tri, and we did it, and then we came back the next year, and we actually did the sprint on Saturday, and then we came back on Sunday and did the Olympic together.
Love that. So, in terms of when did you decide to get more involved with this triathlon rather than just coming and participating yourself, but growing a group?
Well, I think after one of our employees that I should really highlight, a guy by the name of Bill Haig, who Bill just embodies so much of the passion of Johnson & Johnson. He started doing triathlons as part of a fundraiser for his daughter, who was in a real fight with cancer at the time. And as part of that, Bill got into triathlons. And so he started to build up a nucleus of people at J&J to do the triathlon, and it all kind of came together from there. And so from them, other people like David Silver, one of our employees, who's actually, I think, won this race a couple of times, comes back.
The former pro.
The former pro. It was really a bottoms-up, a groundswell of support. And then last year, when we found out that we'd have a chance to step up and be the primary sponsor, a lot of us got together and we said, you know what, this is really consistent with who we are, what we want to do, and that's what brought us here.
What I love is when things carry over. It's one thing to say, hey, let's get together and do a golf tournament, and then everybody goes their separate ways. This is a mission that really transcends the entire year.
Oh, it is. And there's a few things that I highlighted for me. One is the number of mothers and daughters, or fathers and sons who participate in this. Together. So it's not just an employee event, it's a family event where everyone's out here getting involved, and a lot of them are for their first time. They're saying, this is my very first triathlon, I didn't think I could do this, it's a challenge, I've overcome it. And I got to tell you another heartwarming story. I just heard from one of our employees who came up to me, introduced himself, and said, Alex, this is a special day for me. This was my first triathlon, but more importantly, 7 years ago, Children's Hospital operated on our son who had a cyst in his nasal passageway. He took it out, and now he's healthy and doing well. He goes, I can't tell you how emotional this race was for me. So to be able to bring that together,
Full
that's
circle.
magic. That's full circle.
So you've been in but your first triathlons with basically what, swim, bike, or swim, run, shoot.
That's right.
And people don't realize, because I've done a couple of those, trying to steady your heart rate to shoot after you've been running is really tough. But doing those early triathlons, and then what was the gap between that and getting back in?
Well, you know, I had a lot of years in the Army. I was a father during that time. Throughout that period, though, I've always been, as my wife would tell you, addicted to fitness.
Right.
And, you know, it's something that's always been a big part of my life. And it wasn't until later where I pulled that back and really began to focus it on being a triathlete. And I tell you, it's a wonderful sport. I think the diversity of activities is very healthy. It always gives you a goal to train for. Yeah. And it's something that you can also do with a crowd of people like this, train together. So it's a social activity as well.
Do you have training programs through Johnson & Johnson? Are people actually training at work or after work?
We do. We've got a number of employees that get together, that swim together, that end up bike and working out. And the other thing about Johnson & Johnson, we really got into the whole area of health and wellness for our employees many, many years ago. Yeah. And so all of our major facilities have got gyms and complete workout facilities. Training programs are available in them. And it's something that we really try and encourage, because we're convinced that if you're a healthy employee, you're going to be more engaged, you're going to be happier. As I tell all of our employees, you don't want to spend an entire career working, not taking care of yourself, retire, and have something happen where you can't be there for your family. And so the more that we can provide them an opportunity, again, to do good, be well, the better.
So this course here in Philly, it was the first time I've participated in this course. Love the swim buoys, knowing exactly where you're at. For an urban race, this bike ride is spectacular.
It is.
And the run is simple, out and back. So you're the same type of feeling?
I think this is a great race, and they've made gradual improvements over the last few years. I really want to commend Rich and the entire team for what they've done. Like you said, making the swim this year, point to point, where you could come down with the buoys, clear markers along the way was great. The bike ride's a fast bike course. You got a couple of hills, which I think just gives you a chance to get out of the saddle, but the rest of it's nice and fast. Like you said, nice out and back flat course on the run. And of course, the weather here in Philly this time of year is usually fantastic. And I got to say, Philadelphia as a community is a wonderful place to have an event like this. People turn out, they get involved, and I couldn't think of a better place to do one.
Love it. Do good, be well. Thank you for all you're doing for triathlon. It's great to have a brand like Johnson ' Johnson aboard in the sport of triathlon.
Well, Bob, thank you very much. And I just want to say on behalf of all the employees at J&J, especially the almost 200 who were here today, we want everyone to do good and be well. Thank you very much.
Love it. All right, Bob Babbitt here with Mr. Alex Gorsky. Alex, thank you so much. Thank you. And we're out.